Thank you, Vicky. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to everyone. Can I get another good morning? Maybe some of my furry friends would like to say a good morning to me too. No, never mind.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Wait, I'm not furry. Yeah.
Really? You sure? Oh, just kidding. So my name is Tuli. My pronouns are she, hers, and I'm proud, along with Reverend Robin, to be a member of your lead ministry team. And I really want to acknowledge that Reverend Robin was the lead in organizing the service with our youth. And it's a fantastic. Our youth do services once or twice a year, and they really end up being people's favorite services. So welcome to you all. If you're online, yes, they are online, right? Yes. Won't you put your name in the chat and introduce yourselves to one another so that we can get to know you a little bit better? A warm welcome to you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Thule. And my words are coming to you if you are online from the land of the Lenni Lenape here on this annual animal blessing. We are so excited to have all manner of creatures here in the sanctuary. And I'm glad you brought your pets too. Just kidding. It is good to gather on this beautiful fall day, and while I would love to take credit for this glorious service, many, many thanks go to our youth who will introduce themselves as we go throughout this service, as well as to Dana Moore, who leads our youth ministry. Thanks to Dana for her partnership in creating this beautiful service this day. I invite you to just take a moment. I know there's always a little bit of chaos on Animal Blessing Sunday. Just take a moment, if you would, as we begin, to look around the room, look at the faces gathered here. Some folks have their tongues hanging out. It's all good. And for those of you who are here virtually with us, I invite you to take a moment, and if you have a beloved companion at home with you, to take a minute just to take in their presence, whether human or animal, to reconnect here in this interdependent web of all existence. So we begin, so we worship, that is, to consider what is of worth.
Good morning, everyone. And just to add a little bit of spice to our already busy morning, we're going to be singing 2 songs out of the 2 different hymnals. So if you could mark your pace, the first hymnal we're going to sing is number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. We're going to sing the first and third verse, and then we're going to move over to 1064 in the teal hymnal to sing the first and third verse of Blue Boat Home. Please rise and body your spirit as you feel so moved.
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Jermaine and Elise, for leading. We could not have a youth group without our youth advisors. And we have two of them with us this morning, Suzanne and Dennis, to help kindle the light of our faith, our chalice. Please, would you come forward? Suzanne with her furry companion, and Dennis.
It's a whole lot of puppy.
Hi, I'm Suzanne, and this is Bixby. We light this chalice in honor of the animal realm, furred and hoofed, two-legged, four-legged, many-legged, fanged and clawed, gentle and fierce, wild and tame. May we remember that all animals are our relatives, worthy of our care and respect.
Thank you. Tomorrow, October 10th, is Indigenous Peoples Day, a day to remember the culture and histories of those to whom this land once and still belongs. We have much to learn from our Indigenous elders, not just here in North America, but across the globe, like the traditional communities in Andhra Pradesh in India, which gave rise to the Chipko movement, where they encircled trees with their entire bodies to make sure that they weren't cut down, to the original and Aboriginal communities of Australia. We learn to live into the interconnected web of which we are but a part. You're going to hear more about this later. Our animal companions remind us of this every day, as do the plants and the trees that we tend to. The song that you are about to hear, thanks to Jermaine and Dennis, highlights that change is a choice and that it starts with each one of us.
I've been thinking about the news. Daddy leaves it on the whole day through. And I've been thinking about the wars. And to be honest, I can't take it anymore. I hear you every day, the awful words you say. But hate can't be the face of the American dream. I've been thinking about my life and how one day I'll be a mother and a wife. And I've been scared of that thought too. In a world of struggle, what you gonna do? I hear you every day saying it's gonna be okay. But hate can't be the face of the American dream. And I know that we've got a long way to go, but I've got to believe that change is a choice, and it starts with me. And I've been thinking about our mother, how they took her away from her people to put her in a boarding school, away from her brother, sister, and culture. I hear her every night saying we've gotta make this right. But they can't be the face of the American dream. And I know we've got a long way to go, but I've got to believe that change is a choice, and it can start with me. And change is a choice, and it can start with me. And change is a choice, and it can start with you.
My name is Mary Lee Crawley, and my pronouns are she and her, and I am a chaplain here at Beacon. Chaplains at Beacon extend the spiritual care of our community, and one ritual of our spiritual care is our community candle lighting. Together, we light candles of joy, sorrow, and gratitude. This morning, we light a candle of sorrow for all the storm-related devastation and the long road of recovery in Florida, Puerto Rico, and Cuba, and the ongoing water disaster in Jackson, Mississippi. And we light a candle of joy and gratitude for the launch of Beacon's Hope and Equity Center and all those who brought this organization into existence. For those and other things, Reverend Robin has lit our candles this morning, and we will enjoy them rather than coming forward due to our furry friends and lighting candles ourselves.
Good morning. My name is Meredith. I'm a senior in high school. I'm one of the leaders. Oh, mask, yes. I'm a senior in high school and one of the leaders of the youth group. And this is Nave, who is a bit of a spoiler alert for the story I'm about to tell. Where are you going? Come here. I have been given a unique and life-changing experience in the form of a dog. Not just any dog, but a sweet, gentle, smart, and stubborn little lab named Nave. The really special thing about her is from the moment she was born, she was put on a path to become a service dog to someone with a visual impairment. She was born as a part of the Seeing Eye, an organization that helps the blind by training and pairing dogs to help them have greater independence in their daily lives. Guide dogs help blind people get to work, navigate traffic, and go about their daily lives in a world that is not easily accessible. The Seeing Eye raises these dogs from birth, but you can't exactly teach a 5-pound puppy to read traffic. That's where I come in. I'm a volunteer puppy raiser that teaches dogs basic obedience while they grow mature enough for their formal training. I decided I wanted to do this when I was in middle school, after I saw a group of puppies in training at the airport. I asked my mom, and she said I could do it when I got to high school. That was probably her version of hoping I would forget about it. So naturally, right when I entered 9th grade, I applied to raise a puppy with my county Seeing Eye Club. I accepted, and soon I had a dog of my own like I had wanted for years. I met Nave when she was 8 weeks old and barely bigger than my hands. The first few months went great. I got to watch her grow into the cutest thing ever and learn all her commands with great success. She was a deeply intelligent dog, even as a puppy. I was always amazed by her curiosity and how quickly she picked up on things. I mean, look at her. Hey, sit. But then problems began to present themselves. She had always been a low-energy dog, but she started refusing to go on walks. I would stand on the sidewalk with her, trying and failing to encourage her. Tears would build in my eyes and my throat would get tight. What was I doing wrong? I felt I was failing her. She had all this potential, and I was just the wrong person to be training her. Whereas somewhere out there, I was failing someone who needed her to help them. I had always suffered from anxiety, and Nave became a source of that with me. We went everywhere together, to restaurants, museums, movies, etc. She would wear her green vest to mark that she was in training, and naturally I drew the curious gaze of every stranger. It drove me crazy. I wondered if they could see what a horrible job I was doing, if they thought I was a bad person. Even though I loved her so much, I regretted taking up the challenge of raising her. I dreaded every walk and every outing. But when COVID hit, I was able to relax a little bit. I was a mess in every way, in other ways, but taking care of Nave gave me a sense of structure that I was grateful for. I would walk her before and after school every day, and she'd always be there to give me love whenever I needed it and lots of tail wags. And then, as the world began to return to normal, it was time for her to go back to the seeing eye. We had a heartfelt goodbye, and I missed her a lot. A few months went by, and the seeing eye sent us a postcard saying she was doing great and learning quickly. I was very happy to hear that. A few more weeks, and we got a call asking about her refusal to walk. They had gone from giving her commands to expecting her to know what to do. As a result, she stopped working, and then they decided to retire her. It was clear to her trainers that guiding was stressing her out, and she wouldn't be happy at being a guide dog. So she came back to be my pet. I was honestly surprised at how little disappointment I felt. I had feared this moment for so long, that she and thus I would be a failure, and yet it was a happy ending. I couldn't ask for a better dog, and even though it was hard, I'm glad I embarked on this journey. I'm now raising my second puppy, Jack, who my mom has, who is a huge and silly yellow lab. I hope he will pass, and I work hard with him every day. But I also know that if he doesn't, it's okay. Because in the end, Nave wound up helping someone who needed her anyway, me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Meredith and Maeve. This is our second of 3 Sundays for a special plate collection where all of the plate today and next Sunday, as was last Sunday, will go to the New Jersey Abortion Access Fund. And today we have a speaker with us via video, Emily Zahn, who is co-treasurer and secretary of the New Jersey Abortion Access Fund.
Hi, my name is Emily Zahn, and I am the Secretary and Co-Treasurer of the New Jersey Abortion Access Fund. The New Jersey Abortion Access Fund, or NJAF, is a volunteer-run nonprofit organization that provides financial assistance to people seeking safe, legal abortions. We do that through building and maintaining relationships with New Jersey-based clinics, as well as clinics and funds in the surrounding areas and across the country. We rely on small dollar donations to help provide financial assistance that can range from a small amount to numbers in the thousands. We work to make sure that all people are able to access the abortion services they are seeking. With access to abortion becoming more difficult around the country, it is more important than ever that New Jersey remain a safe haven for folks who need to access this essential healthcare service. Whether patients are from New Jersey or traveling to New Jersey, NJAF is there for them. The average cost of an early medical abortion is around $500, a number that is unattainable to so many, especially those who are or underinsured. NJAF helps provide financial assistance so that folks are able to afford the cost of their abortion. In 2022, our average patient pledge has been $200. $200 to help someone make their own autonomous decision about their body. $200 to help someone legally access abortion care in our state. $200 that is only possible because of small dollar donations from individuals who support the right to access abortion services. We are so grateful for the incredible clinicians across our state that help provide these services and are looking forward to expanding our reach in the coming year. But we can only do that with help. Together, we can fund abortions in New Jersey. So, if you're ready to join us, head to njaf.org. That's NJAAF.org and hit that donate button. Any amount helps, especially if you choose to make a monthly recurring donation, which will allow us to predict how much we will be able to assist patients in the coming months. I am so grateful for the opportunity to speak to you all today, even just on video, and to Claudia for reaching out to us and giving us this platform. Thank you all so much for your support. AAF.org and hit that donate button. Any amount helps, especially if you choose to make a monthly recurring donation, which will allow us to predict how much we will be able to assist patients in the coming months. I am so grateful for the opportunity to speak to you all today, even just on video, and to Claudia for reaching out to us and giving us this platform. Thank you all so much for your support.
Our offering will now be most gratefully received.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly, into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly, into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise.
Hello, Beacon. Hello. My name is Lucy Bogus. I am the leaders coordinator of the youth group, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. So you just heard one of my fellow youth who has a great relationship with their pets and animals, and that was really beautiful again. But right now you have me, and I fear animals. Yay. Dogs, cats, bears, fish that die and their eyes are still open. Fun times. Some call it crazy. I call it survival instincts. And yes, this does include dogs. And you might be saying, my dog is the nicest and the friendliest, and they don't bite at all. And that's great, but that doesn't matter at all. Thing about friendly dogs is a lot of times they jump and they bark and they come within a 5 feet radius of myself. All of things that I am not very comfortable with. Someone might be asking, Lucy, why are you here? It's because I love the youth group. That is the only reason. So, yeah. Where was I? Okay. And you might not understand, because you all have pets and you all evidently love your pets, and that's great. So you might not understand where I'm coming from, but please try to understand that if someone, who is probably going to be me after this, is having a conversation with you and they're stepping back and they're not that invested in the conversation, they might be thinking, breathing is the key. It's gonna be okay. And there's no thoughts about biting or attacks or anything that you can tell me that will help. It won't, sadly. But I have gone better. When I was 8, I used to climb up my mom whenever anyone was around, and now I'm here, so that's good. And I've always felt this way about animals, although I did have pets. I had 10 fish and then 9 fish and then 10 fish again when I was like 8 or 9 until I was 11. And I did like half of them, but when I look back, I don't know why I kept getting more fish. Because in my head, I was like, oh, it's time to feed the fish again. Dang it. I would be scared that when I fed the fish, they would come up and bite me or get close to me, and I didn't like it. And I soon came to seriously dread feeding the fish. Even naming them names of characters that I'd liked, like Harry and Ginny and Ron. I was not wearing a Hufflepuff sweatshirt before I got up here. Didn't help. And it doesn't matter how cute they are. My sister has 2 guinea pigs named Sprocket and Gingy, and now a bunny named Radagast, and they are so cute, and I cannot sit next to them or pet them at all. I can't deal with that energy. Although I did get to name Radagast. And they're very cute, and I'm glad she's happy because that makes me happy. So I'm good with it. I do not find it hard to imagine why other people like animals because they're cute. And they bring you happiness, as they must bring all of you happiness. And they do things that make you smile, whether it's rushing up to you to approach their cage because they know they're about to get a treat, or running outside because it's outside and the world is so big. It's nice to smile. It makes life a little bit better. And they're your friends and your loved ones, and I don't fear that. So when we honor them today, I can smile along with the rest of you. I think I'll stay with plants, though, instead of pets. And I do have a lot of plants. I'll tell all of my plants that are currently in my room right now. Here are their names. Planty, imaginative, right? Callie, Candace, Eleanor, Gleb, Fred, Charlie, Derek, Octavia, and 2 little seedlings that I have yet to name that you all say hi. Thank you.
Hello, Beacon. Okay, hold on. Let me just make sure I'm right distance from the mic. It's on and everything good. Hello, Beacon. My name is Samir Korean, but I'm better known as Sammy because that's what my mom calls me. She gave me a name and then never calls me it, so I guess that's just a mom thing, or more a Thule thing. But I'm kidding, Mom. I love you. But yeah, my pronouns are he, him, his, and I am the communications commander on the leadership team for the Beacon Youth Group, which basically entails just sending messages and reminders out when necessary, talking with and checking up on youth and youth advisors, and making any newcomers or returning youth feel at home. So pretty much all I have to do is talk a lot, which I'm really good at anyways, sometimes a little too good. And I'm also a trained chaplain for the youth as well. Now today, I want to talk about nature. And the reflection that I'm going to give is predominantly inspired by Farmer Rishi, who is a software engineer turned gardening evangelist, and gives many speeches on ecological healing and regenerative gardening. And my mom kind of exposed me to him. And his message has to relate to our whole culture, our whole perspective, our whole attitude towards climate change. And it starts with our language. So I'd like to share with you the Oxford definition of nature, which is defined as, quote, the phenomena of the physical world collectively, including plants, animals, the landscape, and other features and products of the earth, as opposed to human or human creations, end quote. Now, when I first read this, I was like, sorry, what? Because I was shocked, I was confused, and I was frankly appalled, because to me, it went without saying that as humans, we are a product of nature, right? We are a natural phenomenon. We are dependent on nature. We are nature. So I found this definition ridiculous, as it just, well, number one, it discounts like 3 billion years of natural selection and evolution and intellectual development. But that's the dismissing of the science is really just an overtone of the main problem, of the deeper idea. And I think that deeper idea has to do with our culture, in which we consider ourselves separate from nature. Our whole perspective, our whole attitude is engineered around a separatist ideology. And so I'll give an example of this. How many, has anybody here ever heard of we have to decrease our carbon footprint? We have to minimize our impact on the earth. We have to stop doing this. We have to stop doing that. Yep, that's a good amount of hands. Some of the pets here also, I think, raised a paw or two. So the message I want to bring today is that I think this context of eliminating humans from nature through a separatist ideology, through eliminating us from the equation, through taking us out of the picture, is flawed. The message I want to bring is not to reduce your footprint, but to increase it. Increase your footprint. Let the world know that you are here. Or actually, well, just got an image of like, I mean, you could let the world know that you are here by buying a car and driving it 120 miles per hour on the highway. Not that, but let the world know that you are here in concert with nature. Become a tree planter, a soil builder, a water diviner, an earth therapist. Heal the world by healing yourself. Now, I'll admit, I myself was initially skeptical of this increase in footprint ideology in terms of living harmoniously with nature. Like, for example, how can, like, if I planted a couple trees in my backyard, whatever, how can that have enough effect to save the environment, right? It's an issue of grand scale, right? It's a much bigger issue. How can just planting a couple trees here and there do anything? And so I'll give you an example. How many of you have heard of the Amazon rainforest? Any hands, especially in the kids? Yeah, so even the kids, exactly. Amazon rainforest is one of the largest and most diverse forests on our planet Earth, reverently dubbed the lungs of the Earth. Now, the thing about the Amazon rainforest that's actually peculiar is that the majority of the trees that make up its green overstory are spaced with specific regularity, with such regularity, unlike one that might occur spontaneously in nature, that the only reason scientists could propose was that the whole forest was initially planted by indigenous peoples. New evidence emerges every day supporting this hypothesis. I believe there was a book that was done recently that's done like LiDAR scanning and light reflection of the Amazon and found huge, large-scale man-made structures dotting the rainforest. And some of these trees in the rainforest include the Brazil nut tree or the ice cream bean tree. Yes, kids, there's hope for humanity. There is an ice cream bean tree. Another example is when Europeans first arrived in California on the west coast of North America, one of the reasons they eventually dubbed the state the Golden State was not only because there was gold, but also because there were so many indigenously planted golden poppies dotting the landscape that at one time during the year, the whole coast would look golden. So what's the point here? I'm bringing up the indigenous peoples a lot because prior to European colonialism and expansionism and the depopulation of almost 95%-ish of Native Americans and the indigenous peoples in the Americas, Native Americans tended to be animists. Does anyone know what that might mean, what animism or animus is? Does anybody want to give a crack at it, at defining that? Shaylin, go ahead.
People who have a very spiritual relationship with animals.
Exactly, that's correct. Hence the term Annie in the animism. And what that meant is that, as Shaylin said, they lived harmoniously with nature, with the land, with plants, with animals, not apart from it. They believed the natural world was spiritually enchanted and went to great lengths to ensure its survival and prosperity. And they showed us then, and continue to show us, that even today, especially today, that we still have the opportunity to increase our footprint, to increase our love, our care, our harmony, our consonance with the earth and with nature. And so if we can begin to rekindle that kind of mindset, we can also begin to heal ourselves, and by extension, Mother Earth. as one with nature. Because the truth is that messing up the climate is something that we did to ourselves, not to some outside entity. When our rivers are poisoned, it is our blood that is being rendered toxic. When our soil is depleted, it is our sinews and bones and tissues that are being leached. We are nature. And yes, we want climate change, but climate change towards balance by increasing our footprint and being one with nature. All of who you are is nature. Today, we renew our commitment to seeing ourselves as part of, not separate from all of nature, as we bless all our beloved companions who, in much the same way as us, are manifestations of nature. Thank you.
Hello, hello. Okay, it's on. Great.
All right, it's time for the Wonder Box. Yay! All right, who thinks that they might want to make a guess as to what's in the Wonder Box? Oh, Meredith, what do you think's in the box?
Dog treats.
Dog treats. Lois, what do you think's in the box? A dinosaur. Wow, that's cool. I wish there was a dinosaur in the Wonder Box. A cookie. Sammy. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah,
You back
that'd
there.
be cool.
A what?
A stuffed dog.
Oh.
Anyone else? Yeah. A puppy. That would be
puppy.
cool. I wish there was a puppy in the Wonder Box. Okay, well, now we need someone very special to come and open the Wonder Box.
You right there, yes.
Right there.
Right. Oh, wait a second. You have to introduce yourself. All right, can you turn around? What's your name?
Amelia,
Amelia. And what grade are you in?
4th.
She's in 4th grade. All right, do you want to open the Wonder Box? A rubber duck. Wow.
A duck. Wow.
Wow. Thank you.
But this is a very special rubber duck. And it is a very special rubber duck. Well, we can pretend it's a real duck. But this is a very special duck because it's the pet duck of a king. Crazy, right? And I'm going to tell you, well, we are going to tell you the story of King O'Toole. There once was a king named King O'Toole, and he was a fine king in ancient times. And the king, you see, he was a good man, and he loved sports, hunting especially. And from the rising of the sun, up he got, and away he went over the mountains after the deer. And this was all great as long as the king had his health. But as the king grew old, he grew stiff, and he couldn't go hunting anymore. So the poor king thought, well, let me get a duck to distract me. You may laugh if you like, but it's true. You see, the duck used to swim across the lake and go diving for trout and catch fish for the king, and he flew every day across the lake and around the lake, and this all went on very well until, just like the king, in old age the duck became weak, and he couldn't swim any longer, and the poor king was lost entirely. Now, the king was walking one morning by the edge of the lake, lamenting his fate, when all of a sudden he turned round the corner, and who should he meet but a young man coming up to him?
God save you.
Says the king to the young man.
God save you kindly, King O'Toole.
Says the young man.
True for you.
Says the king.
I am King O'Toole, prince and plenipotentiary of these parts. But how did you know that? Oh, never mind.
Says Saint Kevin. Yes, You see, it was Saint Kevin, sure enough, the saint himself in disguise.
Oh, never mind. I know more than that. May I ask how your duck is, King Tool? How did you know about my duck?
Says the king.
Oh, no matter.
After some talk, the king says,
What are you? I'm an honest man.
says the saint.
Well, honest man, what do you do for work? Making old things good as new.
Says Saint Kevin.
Is it a tinker you are?
Says the king.
No. I'm no tinker by trade, King O'Toole. I have a better trade than a tinker. What would you say if I made your old duck good as new?
And at the word of making his duck as good as new, you'd think the poor king's eyes were ready to jump out of his head. And with that, the king whistled, and down came the duck, waddling right up to the king. And the minute the saint laid his eyes on the duck, he says,
I'll do the job for you, King O'Toole. Goodness!
says King O'Toole.
If you can fix my duck, I'll say you're the cleverest fellow in the land. Oh, you can't say that. I'm not as clever as to repair your old duck for nothing. What will you give me if I do the job for you? I'll give you whatever you ask.
Says the king.
Isn't that fair? Sounds fair.
Says the saint.
That's the way to do business. Now, this is the bargain I'll make with you, King O'Toole. I will make your duck as good as new if you will give me all the land that the duck flies over. I will.
Says the king.
You won't go back on your word?
Says Saint Kevin.
I won't.
Says King O'Toole, holding out his fist.
It's a bargain. Come here.
He says to the duck.
Come here, and I'll make you a young bird again.
And with that, he took up the duck by the two wings, marking her to grace with a blessed sign, and at the same time, he throws her up into the sky, and the duck starts to fly like a young duck once more. It was a beautiful sight to see, the king standing with his mouth open, looking at his old duck flying like a lark, better than she ever was. And when she lands at his feet, he patted her on the head and said,
My duck, you are the darling of the world. And what do you say to me?
Says the saint.
For making her the like. My God, I say nothing beats the art of man. And do you say no more than that?
Says Saint Kevin.
And that I forever owe you. But will you give me all the ground the duck flies over?
Says Saint Kevin.
I will, and you're welcome to it. But it's the last acre I have to give. But you'll keep your word true. As true as the sun.
Says the king.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm stealing your lines.
Yeah, switcheroo. When the king was as good as his word, St. Kevin was pleased with him, and it was only then that he made himself known to the king.
And, King O'Toole, you're a good man, for I only came here to test you. You don't know me because I'm disguised.
Ooh.
Goodness, then who are you? I'm St. Kevin.
Says the saint.
Is it the great St. Kevin that I've been talking with all this time? So, you're a saint?
Says the king.
I am. My God, I thought I was only talking to a good man.
Says the king.
Well, you know the difference now. I'm St. Kevin, the greatest of all saints.
Now, given that today is our pet blessing, the story does have a moral. How many of us here really love our pets? Yeah, I should see all your hands up. How much do you love your pets? Like this much, this much, this much, this much? Yeah. We all love our pets so much. And this is a story about a king who is willing to give up his last acre of land for his duck. And that's what really matters. The bond between pets and humans, because at the end of the day, we love our pets and we would do almost anything for them, even give up our last acre of land.
I think our beloved companions can tell what time it is. It is time indeed to bless these creatures who are our companions, our family, our teachers, our guides. Across the ages and throughout the world, there is a deep, abiding connection between and throughout all life. Trees communicate far below in the earth, root system to root system. The bee gifts the whole world the fruits of its travels, and the great blue whale never swims alone. This is the spirit of life that we Unitarian Universalists sing of. It is what we affirm in our seventh principle of the interdependent web of all existence. This day we acknowledge, in the words of St. Francis, if you have humans who will exclude any of God's creatures from the shelter of compassion and pity, you will have humans who will deal likewise with other humans. How we understand ourselves, as Samir said, as a part of a greater web connects rather directly to the ways in which we will live with our fellow human siblings.
Today, we bring forward these, our companions, feathered, furried, orphaned beings in our midst to bless them. If you have not brought a pet with you today, but have a photo on your phone or a keepsake, please come forward and we will bless the photo or keepsake and add it to our altar.
Right here, it's great.
way, we are affirming their life and blessing. Blessing in Unitarian Universalism, as Dr. Tooley reminded us several weeks ago, flows between us. It is not an act of solitary or ordained ministry, but it is the priesthood of all people. And today we acknowledge the calling of all creation. We bless in our actions, in our care, to take care, to heal, to listen, to learn, and to only take what we need in this life. We are blessed with the tender presence, the care, and the joy of our animal friends. If you have brought a friend with you today, please come forward for a blessing. Friends, let us together bless our beloveds that bring us so much joy. May the great love hold and keep us all in safety, peace, and joy. May all who experience the gift of their lives and their acts as acts of compassion and love. Amen.
Well, our closing hymn today is All God's Critters Got a Place in the Choir, and each of you should have gotten a handout. And I actually have a special friend with me. This is my buddy Axel. And although he seems to be a little calm and quiet, he's a blues man. So we're going to change the rhythm on this a little bit and sing it with a little flair. All right? So while you get settled, we'll start the intro. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire, and some just clap their hands or pause or anything they've got. Let's pick it up a little bit. telephone wire, and some just clap their hands or pause or anything they got now. Listen to the bass, it's the one on the bottom where the bullfrog croaks and the hippopotamus moans and groans with a big to-do, and the old cow just goes moo. Dogs and the cats, they take up the middle. The honeybee hums and the crickets fiddle. The donkey brays and the pony neighs, and the old coyote howls. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire, and some just clap their hands or pause or anything they got now. Listen to the top where the little bird sings the melody with the high voice ringing. The hoot owl howls over everything, and the pleasant breeze. Singing in the nighttime, singing in the day. The little duck quacks and he's on his way. The possum don't have much to say, and the porcupine talks to herself. I do it too. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire, and some just clap their hands or pause or anything they got now. Buddy here is a part of the plan. We all get to play in the great critter band. From the eagle in the sky to the whale in the sea, it's one great symphony. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire, and some just clap their hands or pause or any. Let's bring it home. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire, and some just clap their hands or pause or anything they got now. All right. Okay, you. On the music stand, on the music stand. There you go.
Oh, friends, with so much thanks and gratitude for our worship team, our worship leaders, our youth group members and advisors, let us be reminded that all God's critters have a place in the choir, be it furry, scaly, or human-skinned. May the relationships we cherish with our loved ones inspire more love and justice in and for the world we share together. Please join us in Fellowship Hall for a social hour after the service. Youth members, would you please see our guests to Fellowship Hall? Thank you. Oh, and as we close our service with a postlude, we welcome youth member Elise Heinrichs on flute with Shenandoah.